Network Entertainment.
I still prefer those riding jackets na mesh type.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kasi sobrang init sa Pilipinas. There are
Correct.
times
Exactly.
na nag-ride kami, pero ang temperature is 40, 41.
Nako, kailangan mo ng Inutech.
Wala
later
pa
on.
eh.
Oh,
Si
we're gonna-
Inotech, wala pa kasi siyang size para sa size natin.
Meron.
Incoming.
Na parating
Yeah.
na.
Kami.
Yeah, that
Pero
cooling vest.
meron silang meron kayong jacket na gano'n, 'di ba? Yung through and through ang
Yes.
air.
All right, welcome to another episode of Tunay Na Rider. This week, we've got our good buddy, Big Sugar, a.k.a. David Geoffrey. Jeffrey.
It's actually Geoffrey.
Social nga. And we've got our special guest and landlord, JC Santa Marina from WWR.
Hello, good evening.
All right, so we're going to be talking about. There's going to be a big event this in the next couple of weeks, the Batangas Loop, no, and we're all joining. We're all going to be there because it's in Batangas. But you guys have had so many loops.
Yep.
These incredibly successful motorcycle tourism events that highlights the beauty of different regions all over the Philippines, outside Imperial Luzon, right?
Yeah.
And I was curious about the history of it. And JC was lucky enough to be part of the last one where you did
The one in Negros.
that was your first loop.
That was my first loop, yeah.
So I'd love to hear again JC's experience and also what are the syempre we're ang hirap kung hindi mag-shopping dito sa WWR. So what is the right gear for these kinds of rides? Kasi pareho tayo na budol na ni JC.
Sobrang budol.
You're welcome.
Sobrang budol, actually.
And he uses your words against you, against me to convince me to buy stuff. Anyway, all right. So, Big Sugar, introduce yourself and tell us about how Loop started.
Right. So, to all the listeners, what's up? It's me, your big boy, Big Sugar D. You guys can call me D, David, you know. So, Loop Ph, Ride Tour Explorer. Funny thing is that everything about the loops that we've been doing, this one was conceptualized about 2020 during the pandemic. The reason why is because before pandemic started or pre-pandemic, we've been doing a lot of group rides, right? And it's becoming a big thing during that time, wherein even if you're driving a small bike or even if you're driving a big bike, you always go out on a group on a Sunday morning doing like a weekend warrior thing and all that. During pandemic, nobody can move, nobody can ride, nobody can bring out their motorcycles or whatsoever, right? However, it also opened up the opportunity, 2021, for motorcycle dealerships and even mid-2020 to sell more motorcycles because if you don't want to use car or if you're having an issue driving your car because of the passes and all that, the best way to go transporting that time was via motorcycles. That's also the big thing for the electric motorcycles to be introduced during that time.
During that time, a lot of people got into riding
True,
motorcycles. Ang
true.
dami. JC, when did you start riding?
2023.
Post-pandemic na. Okay.
Yeah. So, di ako makarelate nung pandemic.
Pero ang dami. So many people got in. Mark Sung
Yeah.
got into riding during the pandemic.
True.
Basta ang dami. Pati women because it was a lot safer. Kasi the streets were clearer.
Correct. Kumbaga, naging less hassle siya to bring a motorcycle than a car during that time because, for example, like checkpoints, it's a lot easier compared to driving a car na pagdating mo ng checkpoint, crossing one border to the other, they'll be asking you for a lot of documents and they'll be checking your entire car if you're carrying anything like a contraband or something, diba? So,
Yep.
yun yung naging kagandaan sa pagmumotor, pag-electric motorcycles during that time.
Yeah.
Then, 2020, inisip namin, how can we help boost up the economy in Cebu during that time, where I am already originally from, because I've been staying in Cebu for probably a bit over 15 years already. no, because Cebu is a very nice place. And then through my partners, kay na Trunkx Adarna, Ron Sagulili, of course, the ever famous Miss Jet Li, we figured out na gumawa kami ng isang breakfast ride lang dapat, 2021. Nag-open kami ng registration. Biglang nagkaroon ng 500 registrants.
Wait, 2021. I'm thinking, all right, so Jet Li was already Jet Li in 2021,
Yes.
right? I mean, she was already huge.
Then, yeah.
And then I guess that she attracted a lot of the riders.
Yeah, she's a big help. That is very true. Because ever since then, like 2021, she started promoting motorcycle tourism already during that year. Apart from that, she's been involved into a lot of motorcycle tours already during 2021. So naisip namin na why don't we come up with a breakfast ride around Cebu to help to help the motorcycle community again from what happened during the pandemic. So the funny thing is that we figured out that there's a lot of documents that needs to be worked on. Permits coming from the local government, provincial government, to national government, to the point that we had to work closely with the Department of Health, Region 7 during that time because
Dahil it was right after, I mean, medyo
okay
close to the
na.
but
Diba?
still kind of close to the
social
pandemic.
distancing. Diba? Now, we were able to work closely with Department of Health Region 7 since yung time na maglo-loop kami, that was also the same time that they introduced the vaccine, the first vaccine for the Philippines. So ang ginawa namin, we tapped with the Department of Health. All our riders should be getting the vaccine in order for us to help get more people to get the vaccine to protect themselves from COVID-19 during that time. And
So it became like a rallying cry
yeah.
to get vaccinated.
Yes. So we
Galing,
were
galing.
able to help the Department of Health Region 7 to get more people to do the vaccine. We were able to help boost on the tourism side. We were able to help small businesses reopen again because of what we do. And yun, since 2021, doon na siya nabuo.
And it all started with a breakfast ride.
Was supposed to be a breakfast ride.
Okay. So a breakfast ride that became something more than just a breakfast ride. It was a breakfast ride that became a rallying cry for people to get vaccinated. It became something that said, hey, let's bring business to these places where you can eat in Cebu.
Yep.
It helped. And then you started creating a community. Instant ba yun? Was it just one ride or did you have a couple more rides and then nag-form? Parang after the breakfast ride, you're like, oh, let's go Loop in Siargao.
Naging instant siya.
Instant.
Na parang we were expecting siguro at most 100, 150 at most. Biglang nagkaroon ng 500. Tapos it ended up that we had about close to 900, about 900 plus participants for Cebu Loop 2021.
Wow. So instantly you already said, you know what, let's do this someplace else?
No.
Okay. So so it was the breakfast ride. Kasi it's similar to what sila Raymond Gabriel did with Bikes and Breakfast. With the breakfast ride. Sorry,
Yes,
breakfast
breakfast
ride.
ride.
Diba? Pero si Raymond, he never does anything small.
Sir Raymond always does things big.
So that's the name of your sex tape. But
Shout out to Raymond Gabriel.
shout out Raymond and Malu, Ma'am She.
Mom, she was...
Raymond always does things big. I lost my train of thought. No, so we were doing, we did a night ride during, just around the city, Binondo. And I very curated because having a lot of people for me is like kind of a headache.
Yeah.
Right?
Can you imagine they were expecting 100, 150?
Ang dami na nun.
Tapos they said 500. Tapos naging 900.
The thing is, after that night ride, and we had Jancy join us, we had a historian taking us around Binondo. Nag-back ride siya. We had another photographer. We had a couple of locals taking us to places where we could eat. No? Daming nagtanong sa amin. Siyempre, ang ganda ng photos ni Jan C, di ba? So I thought, you know what? I want to do this every month. And it doesn't have to be, you guys inspired me, but I'm lazy. Like, I don't want to go around a whole province. Next month, let's do it in Marikina. Right? And just have a few people join us. I talked to Raymond about it. Raymond's like, oh, Ibag, ito yung gagawin natin. And imposible na, no? What's the point of going small, no? Well, let's do it big na. Then we'll find out with the restaurant, ilan yung kaya nila. We'll pre-book it. Yung malaki talaga na yung iniisip ni Raymond. So what made you guys think, all right, big is good? All right? Another name of your sex tape.
Big is good because you're not only attracting just one segment of a particular community.
Yeah, and that's another thing I really like about your group. Sobra siyang inclusive. If you're on a big bike, you feel right at home. If you're on a small Rusi, you feel right at home.
Correct.
And you connect with each other.
Yes, because all of us, either you're driving a 50cc or you're hitting on the road with a 1250. At the end of the day, we're both riding two wheels. Yep. We're sharing the same passion. We're sharing the same road. We may not be sharing the same CC, but it's basically the same exact story.
Yeah.
Why do we like riding? Whether you're in a scooter or you're in a sport bike or an adventure bike or whatnot, it's the same story. So why don't we just share it to everyone else and open it up to everyone who wants to join and participate things or loops or events like what we do. So that's exactly the reason why we open up hours to bring the community together, whether you're in a sport bike or in a scooter.
Okay, so before then, so you have a lot of these events, no? Right now, FJ is happening. A lot of our friends are there, and
Mad respect to the participants of FJ.
and it's intense. You don't know where you're going. You
Correct.
don't know the route. It's all GPS waypoints. But the culture of the guys who organize FJ comes out because yun ang gusto nila. They like to get lost. The long riders guys, pare, they don't even bring water and food. They hunt for their food sometimes in the mountains.
True.
Really. They were telling me if it's clear water, don't drink it. Kailangan medyo umaalog yung
Okay.
tubig. Mas malinis yun. Yung mga ganon yung tips nila, pare. To the point they're getting dehydrated. Sa FJ, ganon din yung, it's diluted, but yun ang nakikita mo yung culture, yung character ng event. Galing sa kanila.
Yes.
Galing kila Don Joseph, the Long Riders. What is it about the culture of your core group that gave birth to a mission-oriented? It's not like Boss, right? Where they get a lot of they're under a lot of scrutiny because of Iron Man. Wherein it's we have a lot of friends in Boss, but honestly, it's really big bikes, lots of CC, the fastest, the best, the longest range, and then proving you're a boss, right? And that came out in the Iron Man.
Yeah.
So what is it about your culture, the character of your group that gave birth to something like this?
So whenever we ride, what we gun for is to find new destinations, something new for our eyes, something a place where we can calm down, chill, eat, have coffee, and whatnot. And most of these locations are basically tourism destinations. So if you go to a municipality, if you go to a city, if you go to a province, they will always have what we call the tourism destinations that these municipalities would be offering to tourists, right?
Yep.
And then, so what we do is we go to these locations, and I think that's what we want to showcase to the people, because we put value into the tourism receipts, tourism value of the locations, and that's what we're trying to promote. The reason why is because not everybody can go to these destinations on two wheels, right? So through our eyes, through our stories, through our events, we're able to showcase it not only to the motorcycle community, but also those who wants to bring their family there, who wants to experience that location, that avenue. So what we do is we make sure that it's actually family friendly, it's parking friendly, it's the cost is not that high, and that's what we do. That's the reason why we go through tourism officers or through tourism offices of every destinations that we go through.
Okay, so I guess my question adding to that is digging deeper. Before you organized that breakfast ride, what were your rides like? I say going back to let's say we've got friends in Club 200 and Atat, right? They gas station and restaurant. That's all they see. It's a blur in between. They ride in Europe. Pucha pare, hindi nila nakikita yung mga lakes, yung mga bundok. Puro kasada lang eh. So I mean, what's the nature of I mean, did you guys have a group before? Was it a group, a tropa, barkada?
It's really more of a barkada thing, just a small circle, and ever since like before we conceptualize Loop Ph, it's always been like that. That Sunday ride tayo. Let's take off at 5 a.m. Where we're going. There is this. There's a new tourism spot in 2 hours away from the city. Let's ride. Let's see what they have there. Parang ganun siya. Hanggang yun nga. That's where the story started. Parang hindi lang naging Cebu, hindi lang naging Negros. Konti na lang buong Pilipinas na.
So okay, so going another part of the culture, the characteristics. If you ride with JC, JC has done pre-work for that ride. Right? He has, okay, this is the GPS point. We're eating here. He'll tell me a little bit about the place. I don't like doing that. I like just like, all right, where are we going? Where's the waypoint? I'll see you. And then, and I don't want like the planning part. There are groups, like if you ride in a Ducati event, basically you guys meet up in one place. And it's like, I don't know if you watch the car rally, or I forgot what it's called. It's not a Le Mans start. It's the start wherein all the bikes start at the same time.
Right.
I don't know what that term is in racing. Na sabay-sabay kayo tumakbo. Hindi, walang time, walang all right, you got next, walang ganon, walang pole position. Ganon yung Ducati rides eh. Parang they just let you go and then vroom, vroom, vroom. All of you are going to that one place. But there's no line, there's no rules. You guys have a lot of rules. You have a lot of planning. And I'm wondering, when you guys did your rides before, ganun ba?
Yes.
So who's the person who's like, who's the JC in your group?
Me.
Okay.
Normally what we do is that we figure out the route first. The moment we figure out the route, either I ride alone or I ride with a team of one or two to take that 500 kilometer maybe. And what we do is we identify hotspots. For example, broken roads, roads that are under construction, tight corners, and we put that in the map before we discuss that to the entire team. And then once we go to those destinations, we also try to verify if these destinations are motorcycle parking friendly. Can they accommodate more than 20, more than 50, more than 500 motorcycles at once? We take a lot of things into consideration as well. Is their food good? Is it cheap?
Yep.
Do they have resting area? Can they provide charging stations for the participants? Drinking water? There's a lot of things that we need to look into.
Again, going back, kung tatlo lang kami ni JC, gagawin na niya yan eh.
Gagawin ka pa rin yan.
Diba? So when you guys started,
before the loop, we do that too.
when you guys were riding just you guys,
We do that too.
You would do that
Yes.
already. So that's where kind of you see the seeds of what they've created. Because it comes from who they are naturally. Diba? It's not like, and then same thing with Ducati. You see the culture. Si Totti, diba? Ganon yung mindset niya. Unless it's a race, then he's in a totally different mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, JC, baka may
That's why during the Negros Loop, parang first time ko to join with sila David, I felt at home. Kasi parang, I have checkpoints, I have tasks. When it comes to gaming, I'm a completionist. So doing the
Ako,
loop
99%.
is,
Diba?
diba? Like, I'm a trophy hunter, diba? So getting that medal at the end of the loop. So, yeah, I really love the culture that everything's planned. There's no surprises. I mean, if there's a surprise, it's minor.
Very minor.
Yeah, but for me, that's my peace of mind sa riding. Na you have each stage well thought of, diba? And again, with that culture, you're friendly to people who are just starting out.
Yes.
Diba? So
Yes.
if you're not, you're gonna lose people on the next loop. But the effect of their loop is, I started talking to all of my friends who are riding na, let's do this, let's join the next Batangas Loop. I talked to strangers on the way up to Tagaytay, telling them that there's a Batangas Loop.
That's exactly how we started. So we also have new riders who wants to join our weekend rides, right? And we do not know their riding capability, their riding style, their riding form, and whatnot. So even if us, just a group, would ride alone, there will always be a briefing, a pre-ride brief before we take off together.
Yeah.
In that way, if there are 10 of us who took off going to these destinations, the 10 of us will also be home safe. Because
And
that's
then-
what we're trying to avoid.
Yeah. We're not there to test. I mean, okay, so I was talking to earlier. I was with sila DJ Mars and sila Dante, 13 Lucky Monkey. And then they were like, "Oh, Iba, mag-FJ ka ba?" I'm like, "No." And then we start look at each other and we start laughing. No, because there's just not just one reason to ride.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
There are rides that challenge yourself.
True.
Diba? Like FJ, it's really challenging your capability. There's a task. There's something massive that you need to accomplish, and not everybody can finish.
Actually, Iba, every ride is a challenge. Even if you're riding alone on a weekend, getting coffee, let's say you want to go to Starbucks at Mamplasan, and you're riding alone, that alone is a challenge already. Do you know why I always put a mindset that this is a challenge whenever I ride, either with a group or alone? Because there are challenges wherein you have to keep yourself safe. You have to keep your environment safe, your group safe if you're with a group, right? You have to be very well aware of what's going on with your surroundings, you know. So that's the reason why, because the term challenge, it's kasi nangyayari parang pag sinabi mong challenge is parang you have to challenge yourself, you have to challenge somebody else, parang ganun siya eh.
Yeah.
I think where I'm getting to is the thought na parang I'm challenging myself to be a better rider every time I go out. I'm not challenging anybody else. I'm challenging myself to be a better rider so I can protect the people around me, the group who's riding with me. Ganun yun eh.
Yeah.
Ganun siya para sa akin.
So ako, I mean, I ride not to test my manhood, right?
Oh,
I
yeah,
have nothing to
definitely.
prove,
There's
diba?
nothing to prove.
But I ride because it's something I enjoy. It's something that I love. I love being on a motorcycle. I love the feeling of freedom. I love eating in nice places, which is when I found out you guys were doing this. I was like, this is the way to go. All right. Now, speaking of the loop, so how many loops have you done since 2021?
About 11.
And how many riders have joined?
Probably we've served about 16,000 riders
Holy crap.
with all the 11 loops. There are some loops wherein we control the number of participants. For example, when we did Sikihor moto camping, we limited that to about 600 participants only. Not because we only have 600, but
The infrastructure.
everything about the island. We
Yeah.
don't want to disturb the island. 600 was a good number. The bed capacity of the tourism office is less than 800. Plus, the amount of tourists that goes in and out, international, foreign tourists, local tourists, apart from us. So when we
And then ayaw mo rin i-disturb yung mga mumu.
Sikihor, kasi yun yung tatatak sa atin eh, diba? But, I mean, to those who's listening to this podcast, I'm not kidding. Sikihor is a very beautiful place. Just recently, they were recognized to be one of the top tourism destinations in the Philippines. Like I think top 1 or top 2.
Wow.
Bago lang. So there's going to be a huge impact on the province of Siquijor the moment that their tourism side takes off. Like I'm not kidding. Alam ko may airport na ginagawa or gawa ng airport. Grabe, napakaganda ng Siquijor kasi.
Hey, his name is Chico Garcia.
And his name is Gino Quillamor.
And together we are Only Fun.
That's right, for only $12 a month.
But if you're willing to pay, why not? No, we're from a podcast that talks about movies, TV shows. Basically, we do reviews of K-dramas, whatever really. Whatever is on streaming, whatever is on cinemas. We also get to occasionally interview celebrities, actors, directors.
And of course, infused with our own witty brand of humor and slice of life.
Wow. I guess we don't infuse a lot.
Check it out.
So katulad nun, we went there not to bring problem to the province.
Yeah.
We went there to experience the culture, to immerse with the locals. Kung anong klaseng pamumuhay meron sila, yun yung ginawa namin.
Yep.
Sa Siquijor, literal na you have to park your motorcycle about a kilometer away from where you park it for you to visit what they call the secret beach.
Okay.
You have to hike down probably about 70 steps going down, 70 steps going up. And then all you'll see is like blue, clear water. Meron silang waterfalls to na parang stairs.
Yeah.
Pero yun, grabe yun because you have to, I think it's 170 steps going down. And this is not just stairs like what you have here, JC, but we're talking about like deep, rock formation stuff. And
Pero
that's 170
pwede ka
up and
mag-cross-training dito to prepare.
Yes.
down. Oh my God.
You do your laps here. Then.
At maswerte pa nga tayo yung steps dito maiksi. Hindi siya yung tikang talaga, di ba? But places like that. Places like in Mindanao. In Madcarlan, if you're familiar with that area. We've done Loop de Madrid twice. We didn't go to Madrid, Spain. No, that's not it. There is a municipality in Surigao del Sur, which is called Madrid, Surigao del Sur. Shout out to Mayor Juan Paulo Lopez. Mayor Paulo is actually a rider too. And siya mismo ng taga doon, hindi niya na-explore kung anong meron ang Madcarlan. Diba? Hindi pa niya na-explore kung anong meron yung parang northern part ng Mindanao, parang ganon. So, through our event, we were able to bring in more than 500, 600 riders there to experience that part of Mindanao. Apakaganda ng Mindanao eh. Alam mo doon, piyesta. Kasi, pag nag-prepare ng lobster, hindi isang peraso. Lahat ng participant may lobster.
Whoa!
Diba? Yung ganong culture. Tapos yung participant, hindi niya kailangan bayaran kasi yung mga locals mismo nag-offer. Why? Because the locals were trying to showcase how hospitable they are towards tourists.
Yeah.
Diba? Kasi sa amin naman, we also have to make sure that even up to the barangay levels will understand the purpose of what we do. It's true, maingay ang motor. Diba? Meron tayong nakakagising, nakakabalahaw na mga motor and all that. Through our events, nababawasan natin yung mga ganun eh. Bawal sa amin yung more than 99 decibel.
So you follow the rules, the law.
Kung ano po yung nakasaad sa PD 96 at saka RA 4136, if we can enforce that to the T, we will do so.
Okay.
Ganun siya.
To add to what David said earlier, that you're commenting about him being very organized. They do a lot of reconnaissance. They always check out the tourist spots. But one thing he hasn't mentioned is one of my favorite sound bites during the loop was when people were saying, meron palang ganito dito.
Yes.
And for me, that's the priceless part. Eh. Like,
True.
when we were going from town A to town B in Negros, yung in-between was the magical part. Eh. Because, number one, if you always stick to the tourist guide, you're gonna go to the popular place. But for me, uncovering the hidden spots along the way, that's the difference of touring on a motorcycle. Sa car, probably you won't be able to hit those spots. Eh. Pero sa two wheels, it's so easy to stop take a picture, enjoy the place, smell the air, diba? And that's what these guys are doing. That's really enhancing the tourism for places.
You know, I've been riding for a long time, and I've ridden like all over the Philippines, right? But it's always the way I compare a motorcycle to a car. No, is like it's higher definition.
Yeah.
What do I mean? If I go from Manila to from Cubao, where we're at, to let's say Binondo. If you're in the MRT, you've got 2 pixels, right? You get on the MRT, pixel 1, pixel 2 is Binondo, right? Or the MRT station near there. If you're in a car, maybe you have a bit more resolution. Maybe it's 16-bit. Because there are places na pwede ka mag-park, pwede ka mag-drive-through, pwede ka magpagas.
Yeah.
But really, on a motorcycle, you have 8K resolution because you can stop at almost any place.
Yeah.
In like a video game, you're using like the new NVIDIA 9050. Diba? Because you can see everything. Walang ano. Walang ano, yung haze.
Yeah.
Diba? Kita mo lahat. You can stop in every single karinderya, you can stop in every single church, you can stop in every single shop, and you can see everything. That's what I love about riding.
Yeah. Actually, to add to your analogy, no. So, if you're in a car, you're seeing everything through a screen, which is your windshield, diba? So ngayon, when you're on a motorcycle, you add all the effects, the sound, diba? It's like
may sound card ka.
Atmos talaga, diba? And the one thing,
7.1.
the one thing na a screen can't give you is the smell. The realism of the place through the smell.
Yeah.
Sa kotse, hindi ka hahabulin ng aso. Sa motor, hahabulin ka ng aso.
Para siyang VR na siya.
True.
Yes.
Diba? All right. So, let's talk about what are the things that you need to prepare. Like, I'm sure from the first time to now, ang dami niyong learnings, diba? With those through handling 16,000 riders. What are the things that you need to do to have a successful loop?
So, that's a great question. Number one, we tried to provide as much assistance as we could. That's why we have our event partners in preparing their motorcycles for the ride. Of course, for example, for motorcycles, tayo po ay nakapartner tayo with Castrol. Castrol is providing change oil for all motorcycles, both big and small CCs. They can avail that on or before the ride or after the ride. The good thing about it is for free. It's part of what they're paying for already.
Siyempre, sa world number 1
Sa
tayo.
world number 1 tayo. Castrol.
Nakangiti na si Zarko.
Si Zarko
nga
nakangiti, diba? Tapos sa
Zarko approved.
Zarko approves.
Yeah. Tapos sa tires din natin, we have partners naman sa tires natin. We have CST and Maxis na pwedeng they can give out a good amount of discount if you want to change
Akala ko
tires.
libre rin yung gulong.
Actually, ang dami naming nara-raffle na gulong. Sobrang daming raffle na gulong pagka sa end ng event. However, so we've created this checklist already. Insurance, waiver. After insurance, you get your waiver. After you get your waiver, there's a checklist that the riders would need to complete or the loopers would need to complete. Number 1, dyan na po pumapasok ang mga gears like helmet ng Shark. Na, I mean, hindi requirement ng Shark helmet, no? I'm promoting Shark helmet, hindi rin joke lang. But the reason why I'm saying Shark helmet is because iba yung comfort na binibigay na sa amin ni Shark, no? We also have Gilly helmet as our partner. Sa Gilly helmet naman po, ganun din, nagbibigay ng malaking discount para sa mga participant natin. Sa gloves, we have Sigura gloves. We have yung gloves na provide po ni Future Eyes. Ni Gilly, which is yung Sphinx gloves din. So, we try to cater to all types of markets sa motorcycle scene or motorcycle community. We have those who's targeting for mas higher end products. So, we have these partners. We have Shark, we have Falco, we have Sigura, we have Furigan jackets, mga ganon. But basically, ang nangyayari sa amin kasi is may checklist eh. Checklist dapat may full face ka na helmet. Hindi acceptable sa amin yung substandard brands na helmet. Hindi na po ako mag-mention. No, the reason why is because at the end of the day, hindi po namin kontrolado ang manibela ninyo. We don't control your throttle. We need to make sure that you're at the safest possible attire every time we ride out. Hindi sa amin pwede yung naka-long sleeves lang, okay na. Kailangan long sleeves mo, at least padded. Diba? Mas maganda kung naka-riding jacket ka. Diba? The reason why is because, tama ba yung term ko? Abrasion resistance?
Yes, abrasion resistance. That's very important sa riding. Because the spills that we get on the road, diba? Even at slow speed, can tear off normal clothing.
Yep.
Diba there's this video going out on different riding communities right now, yung parang naka-sport bike siya, tapos
Shorts lang, yung mga ganon.
yung mga ganon, tapos nakikita mo in just a 0.6 of a second.
Yeah.
Kalbo na.
He was driving through the streets.
Oo, diba? Parang ganun siya. Kasi yun yung difference sa 4-wheel tsaka sa 2-wheel. Sa 4-wheel, protektado ka eh. Sa 2-wheel, hindi ka protektado. Diba? So, things like this, for example, yung mga jackets na ni Held, mga jackets.
German technology yan.
Sigura, ni na Furigan. These type of jackets, ibang material kasi ginagamit nila eh. Yeah, they may be a bit expensive, but let me ask you, would you rather pay for an 18,000 worth jacket or a 50,000 hospital bill?
Pero no, so speaking of, ang daming mga helmet, ang daming mga jackets. Pero what kind of gear do you think? I mean, JC, you did
Ikaw,
the
JC.
necklace. What is the, I mean, should I wear leathers? God, for me, mukha kaming hotdog dun eh. Should I wear like urban riding gear? What are the... Because I'm shopping now eh.
Yeah.
For the Batangas Loop. Siyempre, alam mo, na-incept na ako by being here. Pangilang show na natin to? Pang-apat?
Fifth na ata.
Panglima na to. Panglimang show na to. Every time, bumibili na ako ng gear eh. Ito, hinandaan na ni JC eh. Pang Batangas Loop ko eh.
Yeah.
So what's the type of gear? What will you be wearing?
Well, basically for planning for the loop, diba? Again, we have different motorcycles there at the event. So for us, what we give you is options na number one, safe, diba? So make sure na yung gear according, like what David said, fits that safety standard. So second, the good thing about our brands, no, is we cater to the different personalities on the bike. Kasi that's very important sa riding eh, na you get to express your personality through the gear that you wear. Diba? So ngayon, when it comes to the loop, I realized no, na function plays a lot. Diba? So yung comfort mo during the loop, you're doing a lot of of stops.
You're doing a lot of stops. You're doing a lot of walking,
Yes.
right? You're not on the
You're
bike.
doing a lot of eating. And
A lot of
eating,
eating.
yeah.
So, hindi pwede yung sobrang sikip naman, di ba?
Yes.
Dapat medyo athleisure, di ba?
Yes.
Hindi formal.
Tama.
So, what are you gonna be wearing?
Yeah, like for example, with the Negros Loop, I had 2 sets of gear to choose from. I brought both. So I had my...
Arte mo.
Iba. May wardrobe change in the middle of the loop.
Grabe. Ako, isang jacket lang. Okay
Again,
na yan for 1 week eh.
Kasi going to Negros, we had to come from Manila eh.
Oh.
So I had to have extra, di ba?
Kaya 1 week, okay yung isang set of gear.
Nagpa-laundry pa kami bago
Grabe ang
umuwi.
arte nyo. Pero basagan ng trip.
Yeah, to be practical. Kasi I was testing rin what would work, di ba? So I would go extreme
Sige na
maporma or extreme functional. So one thing I realized, no, you do a lot of stops dun sa loop because ang ganda ng activities that they plan per stop. So for me, I would choose a modular helmet for that kasi you can easily flip it open, diba? Then talk to, like if you need to ask directions, hindi kayo nagsisigawan through the helmet.
Now, the beauty of a modular isn't just comfort, no?
Yes.
Ang yabang ng dating, lalo na kung naka-tinted yung visor mo, and then suot mo yung helmet. Boss, saan ba yung blah, blah, blah? Ito yung checkpoint, oh, di ba? Or, kita nakangiti ka. Oy, sir.
Exactly.
Excuse me,
Exactly.
saan ba yung malaking bagay to see your face.
Yes.
And to see your smile in your eyes. That is really part of touring. Eh.
Totoo. And again, diba, like, part of the tour is taking a lot of snaps for memories, diba? And if your face is covered, they could say that's not you.
Yeah, well, it depends on who you ride with. Kasi nalala ko yung mga ride natin with like people like Mark Nelson, di ba? Yung mga Gino.
Yeah.
Mas gusto ko naka-helmet tayo lahat para pantay-pantay. Kasi si Mark, pagtanggal ng helmet, parang may slow-mo and nag-glisten pa yun eh.
May mga ganun talaga no? Bumakbak na ng 500 kilometers. Pag tagal ng helmet, parang bagong ligo.
Yes, fresh to arrive pa rin.
Okay, so JC, just really quick. Not everybody knows or understands what type of helmet this is. Yung modular. Maybe you can show really quick on the camera.
Oh, sure.
What is a modular helmet is.
Okay, so
Kasi para sa mata na nasa camera, malamang full face ang tawag nila
ito
dyan.
yung kunin ko yata, yung na matching sa Desert X at saka 450 MT.
Oh, kasi
Yeah.
XL yung size eh. Ito nga yung
ito
sa'yo.
na yun.
So typically, you'd wear a full face helmet for the ride, right? But
Yep.
if you have an option for a modular, this is the best thing about it.
Wait, hawakan natin yung mic.
So with the modular, you can ride it close, full face, or just flip it
Yun,
open. So now you can easily smile to the people that you visit for the first time. Diba? And the good thing about Shark helmets when it comes to their Evo GT model, the Shark Evo GT, is that it's homologated safe whether it's open or it's closed.
So it's homologated.
Wait. What is what?
Euro homologation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it means that it passed the safety standard open or closed. Because
So-
some modular helmets
I thought
are
it
only
likes.
open up
It's a male helmet that likes another male helmet.
No, bro.
Inclusive tayo, pare. Diba? And walang judgment. I don't mind wearing a gay helmet.
No, you know what I like about modular helmets? Really quick, because I own. By the way, you guys, I own a Shark helmet as well. I have the Evo GT, the same thing as this one, but the plain white.
He's the reason.
Why
Kasi
he's
syempre,
white.
similar shape ng head, di ba? Why I'm getting this?
Because to be honest with you, I've used a lot of modular helmets already from different brands. Surprisingly, with Shark helmets, this is the first time that an XL shell,
Yeah, ano yung dati mong size?
double XL. An
Pero
XL shell.
you lost a lot of weight eh. So,
Thank God. You know, Shirataki rice is working slowly. But,
Yeah.
You know, it's... Kasi yun yung masarap sa ride, puro kain-kain.
Sarap.
ka.
Oo,
Diba?
oo.
So going back, hindi sa pinopromote ko si Shark, pero kay Shark ko kasi nakuha yung comfortability na hinahanap ko. A lot of people telling me why you're doing like long trips. Why are you wearing these type of helmets? The reason why is because I have paano ko sabihin to? Claustrophobia. So I don't
okay.
like anything in front of me.
Yeah.
Parang ayoko nung ganun. And apart from that, every time we hit mountain roads or whatnot, ang sarap umamoy ng simoy ng hangin
Yes.
na nakabukas ang helmet. Yung ramdam mo yung palo ng hangin sa mukha mo. Hindi mo mababayaran yun.
Yep.
Tsaka, you can easily drink water out of this thing. Diba?
You know, the other reason, we have to do it like a what helmet for what purpose
Yeah.
episode. You're on a long ride. You reach your destination, right? And then you guys want to grab dinner. Naka-bihis na kayo. Nakakatamad magsuot ng jacket that you've been wearing for a week, right? Or for a couple of days. So what are you gonna do? You'll get on a tricycle.
Yeah.
You'll get on a. But if you had a modular helmet, it limits a little. It gives you that optionality. Sige na nga, I'll just put on the jacket and I'll put on and then I'll leave it in the open mode.
Yes.
Diba?
Yeah,
Okay.
especially if you're riding the city, the open mode is actually best for that because you're cruising 30, 40, 50, 60.
Hindi ganun kainit.
Yes.
So your recommendation with gear is more functional,
Functional,
more comfort.
And
Doing long haul riding, to be honest, I still prefer those riding jackets na mesh type.
Yeah.
yes.
Kasi sobrang init sa Pilipinas. There are
Correct.
times
Exactly.
na nag-ride kami, pero ang temperature is 40, 41.
Nako, kailangan mo ng Inotech.
Yeah,
Wala
later
pang
on.
ano eh.
Oh,
Si
we're gonna-
Inotech, wala pa kasi siyang size para sa size natin.
Meron.
Incoming.
May parating
Yeah.
na.
Incoming.
Yeah, that
Pero
cooling vest.
Meron meron kayong jacket na gano'n, di ba? Yung through and through ang
Yes.
air.
So, I brought my Porma jacket and I brought my adventure jacket from Held. So, the Loop actually made me a Held fan because, number one, what I like about the German design of Held is that they anticipate already the functionality that you will need for rides like this. Like, they're into adventure touring talaga. That's why they're well known sa Motorrad magazine, partnered with BMW, Ducati. So, number one, Hell jackets are lightweight and the mesh. So, it's not just normal mesh, it's 3D mesh. So, ibig sabihin, perfect for tropical climates. Kaya nga siguro yung name niya Tropic. Is that with 3D mesh,
Talaga?
Saan yun?
Hindi siya pang winter.
so with the Tropic jacket, you notice that the mesh doesn't stick to your skin.
Because it's 3D.
Yes.
Okay, so they have a special version for us then.
Oh, yeah.
I got the Held B, the Tropic B.
Yes.
Which,
That's the one.
which stands for belly. So sa chan, there's a couple more inches.
Yun nga, kaya tinatingin sa camera. Tinatago ko.
Saktong-sakto. All right. So on that note, so comfort is what people should look for.
Yes.
Function and something that you can walk around in, you can tour in, not just being on your motorcycle and stopping at gas stations.
Yeah, pero dapat syempre rider tayo, dapat gwapo pa rin tayo. So the form and function should always go together.
Meron yan sa WWR. So I'm picking up these gloves also. Because
The
these
Eden gloves.
Kanina na nandun lang yan. Now he's picking it up as well.
And I'm thinking maybe this one or the gray.
The gray one because of your new helmet.
The gray one. Okay.
And with your motorcycles, the gray one looks better.
Okay, done. Wala, budol na to.
May lupit na fashion consultant.
No, it's not that. I mean, ilang tao na bang napagastos ko rito? Kakapunta ko rito.
I'd like to add, Iba, when it comes to function and comfort, the reason why I really prioritize that is I don't want to compromise. Because once everything becomes uncomfortable, that's when the temptation comes in. Hindi, mag-t-shirt na lang ako or mag-jersey.
No, or I gotta ride faster. Right? I
Exactly.
gotta get to the
Exactly.
destination. If you're uncomfortable, it is unsafe.
Yes.
I just want to share this. I think earlier, today is the first time na nag-skyway ako nang walang riding jacket or wala yung air vest ko.
Nakaka-stress, di ba?
I feel so naked.
Oo.
Parang kailangan mas aware ako sa surroundings ko. Pag may kotse sa likod ako nakabuntot, I have to switch lanes right away
Giveaway na lang.
because I don't feel safe.
You know what else stresses me out? Like nasa gas station, tinanggal ko ng helmet, nakagas ako. The bigger gas stations, like on the highways, di ba? And then let's say, nandun lang yung tropa. Parang, nakasabit lang, so I'm just moving the bike. I get so stressed riding the bike, going to like the select, di ba? From the gas station.
True.
And if you're gonna ride the loop the whole day, you don't want that to bog your
Correct,
mind.
correct.
All right. So on that note, any final words of wisdom, Big Sugar?
Final
Any
words of
shout
wisdom.
outs?
Well, shout out to the entire team Q815, team Loop Ph. Shout out to you guys. Without you guys, we could have never done more loops. Our biggest shout outs would actually go to our true VIPs. Our true VIPs are the loopers or the participants who's been joining our event since 2021 up until now.
Big bike, small bike,
Yes.
doesn't matter. These
Salute ako dun sa mga yan.
liba
Grabe
ko,
sila.
riding from all over the country to join these events.
Kung nasan kami, andun sila.
Galing.
Dun, saludo po ako sa inyo. Maraming salamat po sa patuloy na papasusuporta po ninyo sa Loop PH. And of course, the reason why we're here is to ride, tour, explore. Just a quick one. Dati ang pangalan dapat namin is Loop PH Ride to Explore. There was a mistake on the to. It became tour.
Perfect.
Sounds
a happy
better.
mistake.
A ride, tour, explore.
All right, JC.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the Batangas Loop again.
Not just the Batangas Loop. We'll
Yeah.
be roaming the Philippines 4 times this year.
Yes.
There
Wala,
are 4
si J-
Parang may
sasama-
hints na nga eh.
destinations.
Sasama na
Keyboard
si
ba yan?
JC lahat
Keyboard?
na lahat na yan.
Yeah, and shout out to Motor Clyde Training Center. They played a big role for me to start out riding.
Oh, yeah.
And them being part of the safety team also
Gives you a lot of peace of
David,
mind.
gives me confidence pa as a rider.
And it's their home court.
Yes.
Right?
Santo
So
Tomas, Batangas. Shout outs to Mayor Arth. Thank you so much for accommodating Loop PH in producing Batangas Loop in partnership with Santo Tomas Batangas and the province of Batangas as well.
All right. And on that note, after this episode, we'll be done with the loop. We'll catch up with
Yeah.
you again and then kind of regroup and share our the beautiful sights, things we've eaten, things we did in Batangas.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks again, Big Sugar, for being on Tunay Na Rider.
Thank you for having me here.
Thanks, JC, for being our landlord, feeding us and giving us
Not your landlord. I'm just your host.
our host
Yeah, you're welcome to have
here at WWR. And we'll see you in the next episode.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.